For the Record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Base and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-4977.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 3rd day of October 2018. I trust that everyone had an enjoyable evening and that you're raring to go today. Some parts of the Cayman Islands, it appears as if we had some precipitation over the night as well. Roads in Georgetown, some areas are wet, so you want to be extremely careful when you're driving, and we also stress that you want to be courteous on the roads as well. I want to thank you, our listening and viewing audience, for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. Of course, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on a local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. Normally, it is the award-winning radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record, at CANDW.KY. We also have a WhatsApp number. That WhatsApp number is 925-3261, where we encourage you to leave a voice message or a text, a note as well, a text note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube by simply subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. It is also my pleasure today to announce that we have on board, sponsoring For the Record, a new sponsor this morning, and we want to welcome Cayman Airways as our newest sponsor on For the Record. Cayman Airways are now offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City starting this December. So you can call Cayman Airways reservation at 949-3211, contact a travel agent, or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your flights today. Our favorite airline here in the Cayman Islands. And whenever I'm flying, if it's a route that Cayman Airways takes you, I fly Cayman Airways. Or if I can fly part of my journey by Cayman Airways, I fly Cayman Airways as well. What would we do here in the Cayman Islands without Cayman Airways? Prove themselves after Hurricane Ivan, and they continue to prove themselves as well. We need not have to put all our eggs in one basket and rely on foreign carriers who can pull out at any point in time, who can change their policies, change their routes or whatever at the same time. Solid all the way. Cayman Airways here with us, and we want to again welcome them aboard as a sponsor on For the Record. Today on For the Record, we have some very, very special guests in the studio, and the whole world is always extremely thankful for those who have served in the armed forces, who have served to help to protect and preserve our democratic values, our democratic ways of life, or our democratic institutions as well, despite the fact that sometimes those democratic institutions are threatened, not necessarily by foreign enemies, but sometimes by local and domestic ones as well. So it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Loxley Banks and Mr. Andrew McLaughlin, and we will be joined by Mr. Paul Ebanks as well from the Cayman Islands Veterans Association. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, and thank you for having us. It's our honor.
Good morning. Loxley, I'm going to have you kick off the talk.
Well, the Cayman Islands Veterans Association, of course, coming up, we got the Poppy Appeal, and we got the Gala, and that all sort of falls within the next 6-8 weeks. So we got a busy period coming up, and I'll just kind of hand over to Andrew here since he's been doing a lot of the legwork on this. So, Andrew?
Yes, good morning. Thanks again. Starting October 10th, we've scheduled to give the acting governor the first poppy for the evening, for the fundraising period, and that'll kick off the Poppy Appeal. We'll be out there shaking tins and offering poppies. And we want to make this clear. The poppy, you don't pay for the poppy. The poppies are free. We hand them out free. And if you'd like to give a donation, that would be great. But it's not mandatory that you make a donation. The poppies are free. It is a symbol of the sacrifice that many have made to provide the freedom that we enjoy today. Yeah, on October 20th, that follows the start of Poppy Appeal, we have our Gala, the Veterans Annual Benefit Dinner Dance at the Grand Marriott Beach Resort on 7 Mile Beach. And that is one spectacular night. Our guest speaker this year, we're happy to say, is Henry Bawden, local homegrown Caymanian. He's gone all the way from the Cayman Islands to serving as a lieutenant colonel in the United States Marines for the Pentagon in the United States of America. Wow. So he's gone quite a far distance. His auntie is Barbara Connolly.
Yes.
And I'm happy to say that the event has 20 tables, and we're well over half sold out already. We usually usually everyone waits to the last minute, but we have some great sponsors up front this year. The platinum sponsor was the Ministry of Home and Community Affairs. They jumped right in when they heard about the event. Great. And it's past things. We have CIBC, First Caribbean. We also have Stewart's, Walker Hersant, Red Sail Sports, Health City, Lobster Pot, Rich and Connolly, PwC, Foster's, Solomon Harris, CNB, and they just continue year after year. These sponsors are happy to donate to the veterans. All this money that we make from both fundraising events stays completely in the Cayman Islands and is dedicated to helping those elderly veterans that need our assistance. Many of them did not have the benefit of a pension plan and financial planning in those days, and they really count on us each month for basic necessities and their utilities. And I'm happy to say that through this kind of sponsorship and donations and the giving nature of the Cayman Islands people, we are able to keep up with their needs.
Excellent. Lox, anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, Andrew mentioned the assistance that we give to veterans and their widows, and you really probably can't imagine how the condition that some of them actually wind up in, and that's why the Veterans Association help in these areas are so important to these folks. And the president there, our president, Andrew McLaughlin, we keep a pretty close tab on all these things. It's making sure that the funds are not being misused and trying to make sure that we're helping in every way that we can. Of course, with limited resources, that also plays into the picture. But the Cayman Islands Veterans Association been around for quite a while, and going back to World War I, which this year is the 100th anniversary of the end of World War I, and there were Caymanians serving on the front lines back during that conflict. So, the Veterans Association has a lot to celebrate, and we'll be looking for everyone's help in doing this at the gala, coming and celebrate with us, and of course contributing to the Poppy Appeal, which will be around and a lot of the hot spots, I guess you could call it, where a lot of people come through and shaking their veterans poppy can and kind of begging for donations, asking for donations.
I noticed on your website here that you state that the Cayman Islands Veterans Association is not just for war veterans. In fact, membership is open to all past serving members of the military forces or merchant naval forces in war zones or any Commonwealth or allied country. So not simply. So, for instance, those persons who may have served in the Home Guard and things of that nature are eligible to join.
Yes, and Mr. O.C., this year we've opened it special because, as you can imagine, our membership has been on a decline. I'm sorry to say some of the veterans that I was able to meet from the Home Guard are no longer with us. Yes. And so we've opened up new membership, and we have affiliate membership and associate membership. And these are membership categories where even if, say, you didn't serve, because sometimes service skips a generation, it's just a natural fact. Well, if your mom or dad, sister, brother, anyone in your family served, then you can come in membership under that category. As well as if you have had nobody serve, but you really appreciate the sacrifice that the veterans made, we have a membership category for you as well. So I would ask everyone to go to the Cayman Islands Veterans website, CaymanIslandsVeterans.org, and check it out and see what you can do to help these elderly veterans.
Another thing I'd like to add here, that the Cayman Islands Veterans Association is all in concert with all of the new laws that have come in under the charities law or whatever it is. Andrew might like...
Nonprofit
the
organization.
NPO is nonprofit organizations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Took us a little bit because we don't have a very good administrative staff. Actually, we have me and Loxley might be the administrative staff. But it took us a little bit. A couple of times we had to go back and forth. But I'm happy to say we were granted NPO registration, and we are in compliance with all the rules and regulations that go with that. And it feels great.
Yep. Many organizations found that pretty challenging, but I think the assistance that the department offered in encouraging you and helping you along the way certainly made it less daunting than you actually thought that it was.
It was very great. Their assistance every step along the way, and they kept urging us to make sure we did it on the deadline. They were outstanding in helping us.
Okay, so what we want to remind the public, and we want to talk about specific dates like Poppy Day, something that we used to look forward to when we were Cubs in the Scouts as well. We want to talk about the gala, the dates for the gala, and give as much information to our listening and viewing audience as possible. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue with members of the Cayman Islands Veterans Association, Mr. Loxley Banks and Mr. Andrew McLaughlin. So please stay tuned.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Spurgeon Andrew Ebanks, OBE, JP, 1914 through 1994. Spurgeon Ebanks served as headmaster in the government schools in North Side, Spot Bay in Cayman Brac, and West Bay from 1935 to 1946. He went to sea for a period of 6 years, returning home to manage his business in West Bay. He served as the sub-collector of taxes and customs for West Bay. He was a member of the Legislative Assembly, serving his district for 3 terms, in 1957 through 1959, 1963 through 1965, and in 1966 through 1968. He was the first deputy president of the LA and chaired the Cayman Islands branch of the Parliamentary Association. He served on various boards, committees, and tribunals. He was appointed Justice of the Peace in 1961 and received his OBE in 1978. He was a member, elder, and treasurer of the West Bay, now John Gray Memorial Presbyterian Church. Mr. Ebanks was married twice, to Ina Nee Ebanks for 48 years and to Iola Nee Bodden for the last 8 years of his life. He had 4 daughters. He was a kind and considerate man, always willing to help those less fortunate than himself.
Radio Cayman's Historical Facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
It's more than what we do. It's who we are. We were your official bank of the quincentennial celebrations in 2003. We were your Bank of the Year 4 times. We were voted as the inaugural top employer in 2010. We were the inaugural Business of the Year awardee in 2017. Who are we? We are Cayman National, your local bank, proudly serving you for over 40 years. It's because of you that our journey continues.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough, and sore throat to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com. Did you hear that Vant Motors has your sale going on now? And you get your choice on the money you'll save on your new car or truck?
My sale? My choice? Really?
Yeah, and they have lots of cars on sale, some up to $7,000 off.
Sounds pretty good.
It gets even better. You can choose to take the full discount or you can get some or all of it as cash back.
Extra cash back would be great.
Exactly. And you can even use the savings to extend your warranty or service plan so you'll drive worry-free for years longer.
Another good idea.
If you want to upgrade with something like a new roof rack or backup camera, you can choose that too.
Wow, I get to choose?
Yeah, that's why it's your sale, your choice. Going on now at Vant Motors on Walkers Road, while stocks last.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Can you explain what a less-than-container load is for shipment and what your minimum charge is?
Sure. A less-than-container load, or LCL, is any overseas shipment that does not require the full space of a container. At Seaboard, we have great rates for small packages. Just let us know the dimensions of your package and we'll help you out from there.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
Sometimes things just don't go as planned. That's why you need Contractors All Risk Insurance from Fidelity Insurance Brokers. Ensure you're covered in the event of property damage and third-party injury or damage claims during your construction projects. And with Fidelity Insurance Brokers, you can be sure you are getting competitive pricing and superior customer service. Call us today for a free quote. Fidelity, we're good for you.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record with your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning members of the executive of the Cayman Islands Veterans Association. We have in the studio with us the president of the Cayman Islands Veterans Association, Mr. Andrew McLaughlin. The vice president of the association is on his way in, Mr. Paul Ebanks, and we also have with us our own Radio Cayman's Mr. Loxley Banks as well. Now, we know that Mr. McLaughlin has to leave at 8 o'clock for another commitment, so we're going to let him occupy the mic as much as possible during his time here, but I'm going to throw the mic back over to Mr. Loxley Banks at this moment, even though Dave Smith says, stop throwing that mic around on your talk show. You got to stop throwing that mic. You're going to hit someone with it one of these mornings.
Well, you mentioned Paul, and he called me a little while ago. He said he was stuck in traffic, and my mind went back, boy, here we are in 2018 with Veterans Association members being stuck in traffic. And my mind went back to, the Home Guard back in 1942, 43, 44 had a traffic problem also because they only had one vehicle that they could get all around the island. And that vehicle was driven by Harold Parchment. And, every young man, every young boy about that, in that era, he was a Harold. Mm-hmm. The truck had a very distinctive ring to it, and you could hear it coming.
Okay.
And OCU can relate to this, maybe even Andrew. We'd run around with our elbow stuck down in the rim of our hat, and our hat driving. We were driving, and every young fella on the street, they heard that truck. They grabbed their hat, zinging, Harrow, zinging, Harrow. But, as they say, the more things change, the more they remain the same.
That is such a true saying, such a true saying. So, Mr. McLaughlin, the dates, again, we're looking at the Poppy Appeal Day, which is going to be next week, Wednesday, the 10th of October, and then the gala, which is going to be on Saturday, the 20th of October. Let's talk about those two specific dates. And I'd also like you to share with our listening and viewing audience what you shared with me off air in terms of the membership and the decline that you've seen and what the association is doing to keep that try to keep that membership up rather than having the decline.
Certainly. Well, as I was saying earlier, I believe the Veterans Association had approximately 140 members when I first stepped into it many years ago. And at present, when we did a head count, we're down to 41.
Wow.
There's a number of widows. There's 34 widows that are not included in that list that we keep a separate list on. But the decline is alarming. But it comes natural because veterans are aged group and, they have passed. It was so nice to be able to meet some of the Home Guard. These are the gentlemen, our forefathers. As Caymanians, we always respect our forefathers and the people came before us. And I always say they have laid down the legacy, and we're still here to make sure we keep up the reputation. But they certainly have to be credited for what they've gone through because warfare was brutal in those days, and it's gotten a little better over time, and it'll never be good. But, there's a distance now between the enemy and their foe. So on October 10th, we get to pin the acting governor, and the acting governor kicks off the Poppy Appeal. And at that time, then we'll start rolling out into the supermarkets and everywhere that we can with the poppies. And again, handing out poppies. And if you like, you can make a donation. We also go to the schools and we talk to the young kids. Sometimes the children will amaze you at the questions they ask. I think one of the most funniest ones I had was, where do you keep the keys to the tank? Obviously, a tank doesn't need a key to start, but they ask just questions like that and how do you drive a tank and stuff like that. But their interest peaks, and sometimes they ask some really tough questions like, I remember the other day, Paul told me he got a question in one school where they said, what would have happened if Hitler would have won? So the questions will amaze you, the research they'll do. And we have a thing that Paul will talk about, VQuap, Veterans Question and Answer. And that is a contest that we throw out to the schools. We throw out to the schools, and the kids can answer questions, and it spurs them to go back and ask Mommy and Daddy, has anyone served in our family? And I'm almost certain that everyone will find somewhere down the line of your lineage that someone has done military service.
Well, I see, and that's a good segue into this article. Veterans reward students for learning about their heritage. Government primary schools are being awarded a Mahogany Shield by the Cayman Islands Veterans Association for learning about the island's heritage and history. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yes, that's Paul's baby. It was Paul's idea, and we all supported him. Northside Primary School was the winner last year, and it was just amazing. We gave a question. They answered the question correctly, and we actually went out there and did a little ceremony, and they now hold a plaque. So this year it will go out to even more schools. We have the support of the entire education ministry, and it's really a good thing to connect the youth to the people that have served and the Caymanians that have made the ultimate sacrifice in the past. So it brings in a new generation of interest. We have opened up membership, and we've also made a plea out to the young veterans. You would believe it that there are Caymanians returning from service, whether UK or United States, and when a veteran returns, it's not what people think. They don't want the fanfare. They want to meld back into society, and a lot of times they won't even talk about their service unless you approach them and ask them. So we're making a plea to the young veterans to come out, because our forefathers in the Veterans Association have laid down a fine foundation for our association. But we need the young veterans to come now and pick up the challenge and carry the torch into the future as the rest of us get older and older. I'm a young veteran, and I'm 55.
Yeah. Now, let's talk a little bit about PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I remember when I was a youngster, and we knew people who had served in the war, mainly in the Home Guard, and we always used this term, shell shock. And of course, those days, you didn't know about any treatments, for things of that nature. We just saw it in a negative light. Here, this person went to war and they came back damaged. They came back shell shocked. They're not themselves again. How does that compare to what we have today and some of the services that we have that try to address PTSD?
I'm not sure if anybody ever told you were clairvoyant, but that is one of our newest topics that we're approaching. And unlike shell shock, the PTSD can be very debilitating, and it has cost, in the U.S. alone, they were losing more than 20 veterans a day to suicide. And they believe that it is from this undiagnosed PTSD. People have the shakes, nightmares. They're unable to go to work for days at a time. And the government in the U.S. has done a lot to try to address it. And the Veterans Association, at this gala, we will have a guest speaker. He's going to do a very short little speech on his trials with PTSD coming out of the Vietnam War era. And he's going to speak exactly to that. And we are starting an initiative. We have benefactors, and we will be providing counseling, maybe a work group, a private group, where they can go, a support group, and get help with PTSD.
Excellent. We've reached the 8 o'clock news. And Mr. McLaughlin, I know that you have to leave. Again, I want to thank you for being here. All the best. And you're always welcome whenever we have a slot to come in For the Record to talk about veterans.
Thank you very much for
Folks,
having us.
Please stay tuned. For the Record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Price Right is 8 a.m.
Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Priced Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Priced Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. From Monaco to Athens, Premier the Honorable Alden McLaughlin continues his efforts to promote the Cayman Islands Shipping Registry. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more.
The Premier, along with the Chairman and the CEO of the Maritime Authority of the Cayman Islands, took their roadshow from the Monaco Yacht Show to Athens to meet with Greek merchant ship owners as well as movers and shakers in the Greek shipping industry. A press release from the Office of the Premier says the initiative is part of the plan to increase the number of merchant ships on the Cayman Islands Shipping Registry. According to the release, the Cayman Islands is one of the top registers for yachts, but is outranked in terms of merchant ships flying the Cayman flag. With more than 2,000 yachts registered, just 20 merchant ships are on the register. On Tuesday, the Premier hosted a luncheon for the 15 ship owners and CEOs of Greek shipping companies at Piraeus Marine Club. Greek shipping owners account for almost 25% of the world's total merchant shipping fleet. Also attending the lunch, Greek Caymanian Nikki Papadakis, as well as Speaker of the House, the Honorable Makiva Bush, who also happened to be in Athens independently visiting his friend Mr. Papadakis. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Health Minister the Honorable Dwayne Seymour joined organizers, survivors, and members of the public at Monday's launch of Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
This is a very important health education drive. It's now in its third decade, and I think it is significant that we all take a moment to celebrate its success. When it comes to this cause, there are no more committed advocates anywhere than the Lions Club of Tropical Garden.
Breast cancer survivor Carla McVicker spoke at the event and shared words of encouragement with those in attendance.
You will get through it, and you will come out stronger because of it, and you will have a story to share that will encourage others who will go through it.
You can find out more about this year's awareness and fundraising events planned by the Lions Club of Tropical Gardens by visiting lctgbreastcancerawareness.com. British Nigerian award-winning pianist Rebecca Omordia is in concert this Thursday as part of a piano concert series being held twice a year by the Cayman Arts Festival.
And she will try to entertain our audience with some interesting music this time, because she promotes some among the major composers. She decided to promote African classical music composers. So it's something new. The audience didn't hear this before.
CAF's Marius Ghana says Rebecca Omordia's opening performance will feature pieces by Beethoven, John Ireland, and Ravel. 16-year-old pianist Jonathan Badassi and 2018 winner of the Butterfield Young Musician of the Year will also be performing. It happens this Thursday at the Cayman Islands Baptist Church on Pedro Castle Road. And the National Council of Voluntary Organization hosts its Dress in Green Dress Down Day this Friday with the hope of garnering support ahead of its upcoming radio telethon event.
We would love for people to help us push beyond our $140,000 goal. I know that we can do it. Again, all the funds stay locally, and we're able to then help and assist people here in Cayman throughout the year. I mean, this isn't our only fundraiser, obviously, but we do know that this is the largest one that the NCVO puts on annually. So we're really asking everyone to come out, get involved, be a part of our Dress Down Day, and, to help us with supermarket solicitation. We have volunteer groups coming out and service clubs involved. So we do have a lot of help, but it does take a lot of hands to be able to, put on something of this magnitude.
NCVO coordinator Mona Lisa Mead says the collected funds can then be presented to the NCVO during the fundraising event at the Prospect Playhouse on Saturday, October 20th. If you're participating in Friday's event, you're encouraged to take pictures and post them on social media sites. And don't forget to tag NCVO's Facebook page, NCVO Cayman Islands. In international news, U.S. President Donald Trump has mocked the testimony of Christine Blasey Ford against his Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh at a rally in Mississippi. He said, quote, "What neighborhood was it in? I don't know. But I had one beer. That's the only thing I remember. And a man's life is in tatters." Days earlier, he had said Professor Ford was a, quote, "credible and compelling witness." Professor Ford told a Senate committee that Mr. Kavanaugh assaulted her as a teenager, an allegation he denies. That's your latest news. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Access to information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you.
This September at Kirk Home Center, save on Pratt & Lambert Pro Hide Gold Interior Flat Latex Paint. 5 gallons for $99.99. And touch-up details with a 3-pack Pro Max paintbrush set for $10.99. Enjoy homemade dinners on a 30-piece white porcelain dinnerware set from Gibson for $31.09. Organize, store away, and declutter with storage totes starting at $12.79.
Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
It's an all-white affair by Webster Memorial United Church. Saturday, October 13th at Pedro Castle. A night filled with fellowship, entertainment, and your favorite Caymanian dishes with all the trimmings. All for only $25. Tickets are available at all United Church locations or by calling 526-0444. Don't miss the lineup of Lammy Seymour, Women of Purpose, William White, and Samuel Rose. The all-white affair, Saturday, October 13th at Pedro Castle. Call 526-0444 or visit any United Church to get your tickets today.
The 2018 Fall Labor Force Survey is currently being conducted by the Economics and Statistics Office ESO. The LFS collects data on the employed and unemployed persons. Trained interviewers with ESO ID cards will visit the randomly selected households in all districts. The interviews are confidential in accordance with the statistics law. No individual data will be published or disclosed. Survey data are exempt from freedom of information. For more details, please call the ESO hotline at 516-3329.
In financial news, global shares were mixed today after reports suggesting Italy will rein in spending after 2019, following heavy criticism of its budget plans. Keeping score, the CAC 40 in France edged 0.1% higher to 5,472, and Britain's FTSE 100 added 0.1% to 7,482. Italy's FTSE MIB gained 0.3% to 20,623 after a string of losses. German markets were closed for a national holiday. U.S. indexes were poised to open higher. Dow futures gained 0.2% to 26,865. The broader S&P 500 futures rose 0.2% to 2,935. In energy, benchmark U.S. crude recovered on Wednesday. It shed 2 cents to $75.21 a barrel in electronic trading in New York. The contract closed at $75.23. Brent crude used to price international oils added 18 cents to $84.98 per barrel. It slipped 0.2% to $84.80 per barrel in London. And in currencies, the dollar rose to 113.81 yen from 113.69. The euro strengthened to 1.1565 from 1.1545.
Did you know that the Department of Environmental Health operates a recycling program in the Cayman Islands? Recyclables such as number 1 and 2 plastics, tin and aluminum cans, cardboard, as well as glass and ceramic items are recycled on Grand Cayman by the DEH. Take these items to the recycling depots located at all Foster supermarkets, Kirk Market, and Hurley's Grand Harbor. Remember, keep the Cayman Islands clean, reduce, reuse, and recycle. For more information about recycling, please visit DEH website at www.deh.gov.ky.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Synopsis indicate isolated showers along with moderate winds and slight to moderate seas expected over the next 24 hours in association with a broad surface trough over the northwest Caribbean, which is associated with a broad area of low pressure over the southwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers across the Cayman area moving towards the west-southwest. The National Hurricane Center is issuing advisories on Hurricane Leslie. This hurricane poses no threat to the Cayman Islands. If you need further information on the storm, please visit www.nhc.noaa.gov. Now the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers and possible thunder, and temperatures falling to the upper 70s tonight and in low 90s today. Winds will be east to northeast 10 to 15 knots, and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 2 minutes past 11. High tide this evening at 5:52. The sun will set this evening at 6:10 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:17. And the outlook is calling for an increase in cloudiness and showers from Friday morning as the broad area of low pressure over the southwest Caribbean is expected to drift north over the western Caribbean over the next few days. And that's the very latest on your weather report.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Brand Source Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brand Source Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brand Source Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Good morning once again, and time now to take a look at what's happening traffic-wise. Busy traffic on the Linford Pearson Highway and coming off Bobby Thompson Way, steady but flowing traffic. Halter Avenue traffic flowing moderately, as well as Thomas Russell Avenue, and moderate flow of traffic from the West Bay four-way stop. In downtown Georgetown, in front of the Georgetown Post Office, traffic looking not too bad as it's moderate, and moderate flow of traffic in both directions on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz. And in and out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, not looking too bad as traffic is light to moderate. And on Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing moderate, and moderate flow of traffic as well on Godfrey Nixon Way. And on Crew Road, some sections are steady, other sections moderate. And that's very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 as we update you on what's happening on your roads. And on Northstown Road, traffic flowing moderately.
The Tuesday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Grape Tree Cafe. Located in Buddentown, Grape Tree Cafe is a favorite among locals and visitors alike, serving up delicious Caribbean delights such as fried fish and fritters, fried breadfruit, and chicharron, to name a few. Grape Tree Cafe has a reputation for good service, tasty dishes, and generous servings. Telephone 324-5860.
The Department of Children and Family Services would like to invite the community to a series of inspiring events recognizing the contributions of our senior citizens throughout October, the Older Persons Month. This year's theme is Respecting the Wisdom and Value of Older Persons. Key events include educational seminars, a beach walk, a variety show, gala, movie trip, and more across all 3 islands. For a full listing of events, get your copy of the Older Persons Month calendar at public buildings, dcfs@gov.ky, or contact DCFS at 949-0290.
In local sports, celebrate Pilates for Pink, a fun for all ages and levels workout hosted by Energy Essential Fitness that combines the strength, power, and flexibility of Pilates with cardio blasts. Bring a mat and wear pink to join a fun workout where prizes are awarded throughout the class. The registration fee is $30 per person, and all proceeds benefit the Cayman Islands Cancer Society. This year, the event is taking place on October 13th at the Ark in Cayman Bay from 9 a.m. until 11. You can register by visiting energycayman.com. In international sports, no team in the National League piled up more victories than the Chicago Cubs through 162 games. That seems like small consolation now. Kyle Hendricks gave up a tie-breaking single to Tony Walters in the 13th inning, sending the Cubs to a 2-1 loss to the Colorado Rockies at a marathon wildcard game on Tuesday night. Chicago lost 2 home games with a chance to reach the NL Division Series. The Cubs scored a total of 2 runs over 22 innings, dropping a tiebreaker to Milwaukee for the NL Central Championship, and then getting knocked out of the playoffs by the Rockies. They squandered a dominant start by John Lester, got shut down by Kyle Friedland, and wasted several big scoring opportunities. Hendricks came in to retire the final 2 batters in the 12th and got the first 2 in the 13th before running into trouble.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connor, continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Mr. Paul Ebanks now that Mr. Andrew McLaughlin has left. Mr. McLaughlin is the president of the Cayman Islands Veterans Association. Mr. Paul Ebanks is the vice president of the Cayman Islands Veterans Association. And, of course, Mr. Loxley Banks is minister without portfolio.
Jack of both sides.
He's all-around guy and, certainly a very integral part of the Cayman Islands Veterans Association. Again, before I go back to my guests, again, I want to remind you that we have a new sponsor on board for the record. And again, we welcome Cayman Airways as our newest sponsor on For the Record. Cayman Airways, they're now offering daily nonstop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City starting this December. So call Cayman Airways reservation on 949-2311. Contact your local travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your flights today. Cayman Airways or national carrier. So, gentlemen, we were talking to Mr. McLaughlin about PTSP and the days when we talked about people coming back from war as being shell-shocked, and we didn't get an opportunity, Mr. Banks, for you to make comments on that because we had to break for the news at that point in time. So I want to give you an opportunity now to add to what Mr. McLaughlin said.
I think that many Caymanians will remember one of the most vivid, descriptions of what during those days we called shell shock was a doctor that we had here at Cayman during the, 30s and 40s, probably up through the 60s, Dr. Horter, who they said that was his problem. He was shell-shocked. I mean, his hands shook a lot. He was a chain smoker, but he was probably one of the best medical practitioners that we've ever had on this island. But that, you could tell it that something had happened to him in the war or wherever it was. And, Andrew mentioned about our membership getting older. As they say, a lot of us are 3/4 home from the start to the finish, and maybe wishing we were 18 again, going back where we never been. But I think it's important that the young veterans here in Cayman, and we've got a lot of them who come back into the community, and they seem to, as Andrew mentioned, kind of want to keep to themselves. And we would really appeal to them to come see us at the Veterans Association, come and get involved so the Veterans Association can keep going, can, go from strength to strength, as the old folks would say, in the service of other veterans who we know there, I think, will always be wars, and the Cayman Islands have always been in support of the freedom of democracy and defense and preservation of that precious however we want to describe it, because as far back as World War I, we had Caymanians on the front lines in Europe fighting for democracy and the preservation of the same. So it's important that Caymanians, the Caymanian community, know a little bit about the Cayman Islands history in this area. And one way you can learn about it is to, of course, attend the gala, which comes up on the 20th of this month, and there's still tables available. And for information, you can call 916-5189 Shadden McLaughlin, or only female member of the Veterans Association, or you can call 916-5317, or otherwise you can call Paul with number 2. And what's that number, Paul?
916-0701.
And you can call me at 916, what's that number? 916-7755.
7755 is Loxley. Yeah. And Paul, yours is again?
916-0701.
701. Paul. And the other person was Shannon?
Yeah, Shadden.
Sorry.
916-5189.
5189.
And Andrew at 916-5317. And, getting back to the post-service stress syndrome, there are veterans who are coming back into our society that have a touch of that effect. And this is where the Cayman Islands Veterans Association is trying to help out these veterans. So, young veterans out there, please give us a call. You heard those numbers. You can call me, 916-7755, or you can call Andrew at 916-5317. And Paul, again, that number. Can't remember yours. Just
916-0701.
And, there's an open invitation for you to attend the gala if you'll just contact us.
Okay. Now, what if you served in one of the branches of the armed forces, but you actually never participated in a war? You're still eligible for membership. It's not just mainly, being a participant.
Correctly. If you're served in in any of the armed forces of the Commonwealth countries or NATO countries, yes, you are eligible. But one thing I think that we'd like to get across here, preserving the peace is just as stressful and just as it's as important as winning the wars. Mm-hmm. And once the war is won, then the big job is preserving the peace. Yes. And that is only done through a lot of perseverance, a lot of sacrifices on those who are preserving the peace out there, standing on the precipice every day and every night. Never know what the morning might bring for you or the evening might bring for you. And, Paul can, I think, add a little bit to that.
Yeah. 3 Banks?
Yeah. I think we need to understand, first of all, that the saying of Caymanians have served and they continue to serve. But when you're serving and you may be called upon to go somewhere, it is your duty to go. And what you will find is that more or less these days people would say they're bush wars or still problems, but that's just as dangerous. You can get shot, you can get blown up, and they're getting very, shall we say, very good at being able to do this.
Improvise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I think when you've had your training is that your discipline. That's so important, because even now, if you apply your training and you need under fire, I've been shot at a few times, blown up, a few times and you really move, but if you are disciplined and you apply your training, there is a very good chance, and I'll put it this way, that you can get out of that situation and you learn from that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to go and talk in terms of dates. The next date coming up for you is the Poppy appeal, and that will be on the 10th of October. And I want to share with our listening and viewing audience, I rely on Wikipedia at times as well, and let's talk a little bit about the Remembrance Day poppy. And it says here, the Remembrance poppy is an artificial flower that has been used since 1921 to commemorate military personnel who have died in war, and represents a common or field poppy, and it gives the scientific name. And inspired by the World War I poem In Flanders Field, and promoted by Moyna Michael, they were first adopted by the American Legion to commemorate American soldiers killed in that war, 1914 to 1918. They were then adopted by military veterans groups in parts of the British Empire. And this goes on to say that today they are mostly used in the United Kingdom, Canada, Australia, and New Zealand to commemorate their service and the servicemen and women killed in all conflicts. They are small artificial poppies, are worn on clothing leading up to Remembrance Day, also known as Armistice Day, and popper wreaths are often laid at war memorials. In Australia and New Zealand, they are worn on Anzac Day as well. And here in the Cayman Islands, we use it for our Remembrance Day celebration. We know that the Veterans Association, for instance, is extremely active in that as well in terms of the laying of the wreaths. Tell us about the Poppy Appeal. Tell us about what your association does in commemoration of those particular dates.
Well, we're going to start off with pinning of the poppy on the governor or deputy governor, as it may be, and this takes place on the 10th at the government house. And what we have is one of the ceramic poppies that were displayed or made in UK and displayed up there, and there's 800,000 of those that were displayed. Mm-hmm. We have that in a case, and that will be our sort of presentation that is at the government house. And also, of course, our flag and the Cayman flag will be there as well. But that is when we can then start the drive for raising funds. And it is a donation. It is not, you can have a poppy. What we like to see is that you're wearing the poppy and supporting those. Just remember that some gave their tomorrow, so we could have our today.
Mm-hmm. The Poppy Appeal and Flanders Field, when I was in school down at Town Hall, all grade school, that was one of the poems that we had to learn. So, thinking back, they were probably as much or more focused on actually getting across to young folks a little bit about the Cayman Islands' history in defense of freedom and democracy as they are now, probably more. Well, it's probably more now because the Veterans Association has jumped in here over the years.